Hello students. Today now I am going about the chapter number 1 from 12th science biology. The chapter number 1 reproduction in lower and higher plants. First of all, what is the reproductions? Reproductions means reproductions it is the process of formations of the new individual from pre-existing ones. It is called as the reproductions. Formations of the new individuals, formation of the new species from pre-existing ones, it is also called as the reproductions. This process, it is also characteristics are also present in all living beings. It is a way of multiplications of the organisms. Reproductions can propagate and increase the total number of the organisms because from they are developed from pre-existing ones. It is exact copy of the parents. It can take place in a single parents or between two parents. And main function of the reproduction, it helps to maintain the continuity of the life because they have characters are transferred from generation to generations through genetic materials. Hence, it is also called as the biogenesis. This process of formations of the new individuals from pre-existing ones, it is also called as the reproductions, or it is also known as the biogenesis. Bio means life, genesis means to produce, to synthesize from pre-existing ones. It is also called as the reproduction. Then modes of the reproductions. The modes of reproductions, broadly, there are also two types of the reproductions. First, it is the asexual reproduction. It is commonly also known as the apomixis. And second, it is sexual reproduction. It is also known as the amphimixis. The reproductions, it is two type of the reproduction, asexual reproduction and sexual reproductions. Then next, the difference between the sexual reproductions or asexual reproduction, it is also known as the special characteristics of the reproductions, sexual and asexual reproductions. First things, sexual reproductions. It requires two parents are involved. Both gametes are also present. Male gametes and female gametes are also present in a sexual reproductions. But next, the asexual reproduction. It requires only one parent. It is also uniparental. Both male parents or female parents. But it's require only one parent. Second point, the formations and fusion of the gametes, it occurs because it is the biparental, two parents are involved and these parents are produced and these parents fusion. They get fertilization take place. And asexual reproductions, formations and fusion of gametes does not occur because only one parents are present. Third point, in sexual reproductions, offspring produced are not similar to the parents because parents are two types, male parents and female parent. 50% characters are mixed with each others. Then offsprings are not produced to similar to the parents. in sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction, offsprings are similar to the parents because it is exact copy of the parents. It is exact copy. Parent exact genetical character are transferred to the offspring. It is Xerox copy in asexual reproduction. Then offsprings are similar to the parents, but the sexual reproduction are not similar to the parents. Fourth point, it is common in most of the plants and animals. In sexual reproduction is very common process in plants and animals, mostly in higher plants and multicellular animals. It is very common process in sexual reproduction. But the asexual reproduction mostly observed in lower organisms and plants. Lower organisms means unicellular organisms and lower group of the plants may be present in asexual reproductions. Next point for fifth number, in sexual reproduction, it is a less rapid methods of the multiplications. It is very slow process in sexual reproduction rather than the asexual reproductions. Multiplication means formation of the new individuals from pre-existing ones. Offsprings are also developed. It is very slow process in sexual reproduction. But sexual reproduction, it is a very fast method. It is a less rapid method of the multiplication because single organisms produce a single cell divides to produce two cells, or one it is the parents and another it is the offsprings. It is the second, then it is the very fast method. Quickly method, they are produced their offspring because parents are only one. And these parents divides mitotically to produce the new offsprings. Then it is very rapid method, very fast method in asexual reproduction. Next point, meiosis. Meiosis occurs in a reproductive cells. Then sexual reproductions are developed germ cells or reproductive cells. Then they are produced, developed by meiotically and produce their new offsprings because formation of gametes and fusion of the gametes. It is the process held by meiosis. It is the present in a sexual reproductions. But asexual reproduction, meiosis does not take place. It occurs in mitosis. It is the body cells. The single cell divides to produce new offsprings by mitotically. The mitotic divisions take place. It is the sex steps. Then last, in sexual reproduction, it produces genetically variable offsprings because two parents are also involved. Male gametes and female gametes, that like formation of gametes, and these gamete fusion of the gametes and produce the new offspring. Genetically, it is variable because the 50% characters are present the parents and 50% character are present the male and females. Then genetically, offsprings are variables. In asexual reproduction, it produces genetically identical offsprings. It means the genetical similar parents and offsprings. It is exact clone or Xerox copy, genetically identical, exact copy of the offsprings. It is the difference. It is the special characteristics of the sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction. It is the modes of reproduction, two types, sexual reproduction and asexual. It is the characteristics of the reproduction, asexual and sexual reproduction. The next slides. First, it is the asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction, it is commonly known as the apomixis. Then asexual reproduction means, first things, reproduction. Reproduction means formation of new individual from pre-existing ones. It is called as the reproduction. Then asexual reproduction, the reproduction take place without formation and fusion of the gametes is called as the asexual reproduction. Without formation and fusion of the gametes is called as the asexual reproduction. It means the offspring which are produced by asexual reproduction are exact copy of their parents and similar to the another also. Means it is exact copy of the parents. It is called as without formation and fusion of the gametes. These asexual reproductions are developed by the body cell, mostly unicellular organisms. In lower group of the plants are prefer the asexual reproductions. These groups of morphologically and genetically similar individuals produced by the asexual method. It is also called as the clone, exact copy of the parents. It is also called as the asexual reproductions. In asexual reproduction, only one parents are involved. That is, it is also known as the uniparental conditions. Uniparental conditions. There is no formation of gametes and fusion of the gametes. There is no fertilization take place. And multiplication, it means the rate of the reproductions, it is very faster. Now seen in a rapid process of the multiplication, then rate of reproductions, it is very fast. Hence, the asexual reproduction, it is also called as the apomixis. Apomixis, apo means without, away. Mixis means mixing. Mixing means gamete. Without mixing of gametes, it is called as the asexual reproduction. Apomixis, it is the Latin words. Without mixing of the gametes, without fusion of the gametes, it is called as the asexual reproduction. Then, asexual reproduction is more common than the sexual reproduction in lower organisms. It is more common than the sexual reproduction in lower organisms. Then, next, modes of asexual reproduction. Modes of asexual reproductions is two types. First, it is the asexual reproduction in lower plants and asexual reproduction in higher plants. Then first, asexual reproduction in lower group of the plants. Asexual reproduction, it takes place by the following way. Four type of the way are prefer the lower group of the plants. First things, it is the binary fusions. Binary fusions means it is a common in unicellular organisms. Binary, bi means two. Binary fusions. Two cells divides to produce new offsprings. A single cell divides to produce the new offsprings. It is very common in unicellular organisms. In these types, the parents organisms or cell divides to produce the two equal cells. A single cell divides to produce the two equal cells. One it is the parents and one it is the offspring, like this. It is the unicellular organisms, example amoeba. It is the parental cells. For this first diagram, it is the parental cell, single amoeba. Then this amoeba, unicellular amoeba divides to produce the two equal cells. Means a single cell divides to produce the two equal cell. One it is the parental cell, these cells. These cells, one parents and second it is the offspring. These two cells are equally divides. A single cell divides to produce two equal cell. Hence, it is called as the binary fissions. Fissions mean single cell divides to produce two cells. But these are the binary fission. A single cell divides to produce two equal cells. It is called as the binary fissions. Okay, then like this. Binary fission, it is a common in unicellular organisms. Each cells forms an independent daughter organisms. A single parental cells, then they get separate, then independent daughter organisms. And these binary fissions involve mitosis because the body cells divides to produce new offsprings. And the offsprings are genetically identical to the parents, and it is exact copy of the parents. Hence it is the asexual reproduction. First it is the binary fissions, then like this. Amoeba, parental cells, then cell divisions, and to produce the new daughter cell. One it is the parent cells and another it is the offsprings. They are equally divides. First it is, then next. Then next it is the budding. In budding, a small outgrowth, a single cell, it is the unicellular, or mostly example yeast, it is the unicellular organisms. A small outgrowth or projection, it is called as the bud. And bud arising from the parent body is capable of producing a daughter organisms. Like this, it is the yeast cell, it is the unicellular. Then there are small outgrowth develops like this. It is the small outgrowths are also developed like this. It is the called as the bud. Then also develop a chain of the birds like this. They arising from the parent body is capable producing the daughter organisms. These birds, they get separate to the parents. They are develop the new offspring or daughter organisms like this. Okay, then next point. The bird initially remains attached to the parent cells or the organisms. Birds are forms inside or on the parental body. Eventually, they get separate and mature into the new individuals. Hence, this process are called as the budding. Okay, now once again. Once again. Okay. But small outgrowth projections are also developed. Outgrowth or projections are also developed. Hence, it is called as the bud. And the bird arising from the parent body, it is capable to producing the daughter organisms. They get separate to the parents, they are develop the new offsprings or new individuals. It is called as the budding. Binary fissions and buddings are also separate because binary fissions are single cell divides to produce two equal cells. But the buddings, they are single cell divides to produce two unequal cells because the parent size, cell size, it is the large and new offspring, it is very small in size. In binary fissions, they are developed in equal size like this. They are developed, the parents and offsprings are equal size. In budding, they are unequal size. Means binary fission, equal cells are produced. In budding, two unequal size. Parents, it is very large size, and new offsprings or new individuals are very small in size. Example, it is the yeast. Okay. Then next, third, spore formations. Hence, it is also called as the sporulations. The spores are very single cells, minute, thin wall propagules. The spore taking part in asexual reproductions are called as the mitospores, as they are formed by the mitotic divisions of parent cells because it is the uniparentals. And this process, it is very common in algae, fungi, bacteria, and protista. Like this, example of the rhizopus. Spore formation in rhizopus, in this diagram. It is the sporangiopore, rhizopus, and these parts see the sporangiums. In between sporangiums, spores are also present. These spores are uniparentals. And these spores are developed the new offsprings, new individuals. It is the uniparentals. The spore may be motiles or non-motile. It is very common process in lower group like algae, fungi, and unicellular organism like bacteria, protista are also develop the spore formation. Hence, it is also called as the sporulations. Okay, then next it is the second. Next it is this fragmentation. Last point, it is the fragmentations. The parent plant body break into two or more part of the body. It is called as the fragmentations. In each fragments, they are developed into the new organisms. Like this. These examples of the Spirogyra. It is the algae. These filamentous algae, the parent body break down into two or more part of the body. This process are called as the fragmentations. And each fragments develop into the new organisms. Like this. These parents plant body get broken down into the fragments due to the mechanical injury, death, or decay of the older plants, change in environment, etc. It is the mostly get break down into the fragments, and they get separate, and these separated filamentous algae develop the new offspring. Mostly filamentous algae reproduced by fragmentations. Example, Spirogyra, nostoc, these are the like this diagram. It is the filamentous algae. They get fragments to produce two or more fragments, and then they are developed the in each fragments they are developed the new offsprings, new individuals. This process are called as the fragmentation. These 4 points. First of all, binary fission. Second, budding. Third, spore formation. And last, fourth, fragmentation. It is the asexual reproduction in lower group of the plants. Okay, then like this. Modes of reproduction. First, it is the asexual reproduction in lower group of the plants. Then take place binary fissions. A single cell divides to produce two equal cell. Example, amoeba. Second, budding. A single cell divides to produce two unequal cells. Example, yeast. Then third, spore formations. Spores are produced. It is also known as the mitospore, and these spores are developed the new springs. Example, mostly algae, fungi, bacteria, and protozoa. Sorry, protista. Then last, fragmentations. A single plant body break down into two or more parts. These parts are also called as the fragmentation. These parts are also develop the new offsprings, new individuals. This process are called as the fragmentations. Okay. Then next video are asexual reproduction in higher group of the plants. Okay. Thank you.